Well, welcome back to Western New York Tonight. I'm your host, Tammie Lee. Also welcome those listening on WLNF. Jamie Shaner from Home Solutions of Western New York Incorporated. She's owner, CEO, president, queen of the universe. Oh. You're everything. No, and she inspires me like hugely every time she's on. We were talking about downsizing, getting prepared to kind of move to the smaller apartment or whatever it is, your new destination. A lot of emotion with that. We talked about the value of having an intermediary to kind of break the tension of maybe the daughter or son and the mother or father. Talk to us about that. I'm sure you feel it's palpable, right?
Oftentimes it is, and having somebody like me or an organizer that can come in and be truly just the voice of reason. I'm not emotionally attached to their belongings, and I also will tell them, as long as it's not going to be a safety issue, I'll do what you like. However, when you can show them on paper what the furniture is going to look like and say to them, this space between your bed and your dresser is an inch, and you want to put a chair there's not room for a chair. Mm-hmm. So sometimes just being calm and saying, here's everything you want to take, now let's see how we can make it fit, and then just pushing the extraneous pieces to the sidelines. It's very helpful for people. Even though a daughter might say to me, I've been telling my mother for 3 weeks that's not going to fit. I said, I know, but you've been telling her from an emotionally charged standpoint, right. And I'm just saying, let's take a look at this, let's be real. You just present the facts.
It is the facts.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Right, they can see
so you can remove the emotion. And it's the same with, mementos and heirlooms. So we talk about how to, for example, where I'm working over the next few weeks, she has 2 sets of china. So one set is going to go to the son who lives out of state, but they want the other set she's going to take with her, and it will eventually go to the daughter who lives in town. So everybody's happy. One set, one set's going, one set's staying, and it will get to its rightful owner when the time is appropriate. And maybe that'll be sooner than later, because mom might find in the new setting, I'm not using my formal china as I thought I might, but we'll take it and it'll be there, and they know where it's going to go. When it comes to things like Hummels and mementos that are very meaningful, again, oftentimes I have to say, in your home right now, you've got built-in shelves and cabinets. So we have to know, where are these things? You want to take them all. Where are they going to live in the new place? We have to either get a bookshelf or accommodate them in some way, or maybe your china doesn't go in the china cabinet that you want to take, and we put your mementos in there, and the china goes in cupboards somehow. So it can be challenging, but people tend to respond pretty positively to the input of an impartial intermediary.
And somebody who knows the business. I mean, the little tricks that can optimize space, and that can, when there's a possibility, you'll be able to broker somehow for that to work out.
And another optimal situation is when the people can move and leave everything behind because they haven't closed on their house. So they can move and get settled in and have a week or two to make any swaps if they decide. We've had that happen where they took these lamps, but then they realized they're a little bit big in this room, so let's take those back and let's bring the smaller lamps, or vice versa. So it's really nice when everything doesn't have to be emptied out prior to the move.
Or urgently, and then all on that one day with the treadmill.
Right.
With that said, though, then you have to deal with all that stuff that you left behind. So it's exciting to be in a new place. It's better that you perhaps are more proactive. I'm kind of going back to that, because if family can do anything now, it's to plan. It's having that waiting list is really a blessing in terms of a
because
breathing
it gives
room.
you sort of a deadline, something to work towards. So it's not just a vague someday. It's within 6 months to a year. My mom had to move into assisted living, not even just independent senior living, but she needed assisted living. And it was nice because we were able to move her and take what we thought would be appropriate for the space, and then make sure it was before we disposed of the things and sold the house. So that really did help. there was a little more emotion because it was my mom.
It was your,
right.
your mom, of course.
Right.
But you have that real feeling, and you can connect with people when they see.
Right.
So that empathy is really evident. So that's a good thing.
It's helpful. It is.
Yeah.
It comes in handy.
So we talked about clothing, we talked about tchotchkes and keepsakes. I wanted to touch on paperwork because I think sometimes being the caregiver of an older parent, you're dealing with a power of attorney, medical bills that are coming in. You've got your own family's medical bills. Do you have any suggestions for organizing that? I know your background as an accountant, you're very organized.
Right. Having a really specific filing system for your own home, separate for your mom or your senior that you might be looking out for, keeping things separate, but having an actual filing system, whether it's just a simple box. For my mom, I have a file box and it sits on a shelf right behind my desk. So when her bank statement comes in, I can make sure that everything balances, and then I file it in the file labeled Bank of Akron. So a very specific filing system. I have her health care information there. The important papers are in a small, the little fireproof safe. So I've got the healthcare proxy, the living will, the will, my dad's military papers, and anything like that would really be difficult to replace. It's in a little fireproof box. So that's one file. And then the day-to-day files, having a place where it comes in the mail, you see what it is, okay, I need to keep this. You want to have a place where you can drop it, so when you need it, you can retrieve it in a matter of seconds.
Yes.
So keeping it separate from your own financial, personal, household papers, I think is a really important thing.
And you've been an advocate for like those little carry totes. I think those are really nice and simple.
Right.
You can just really move them wherever you need
Right.
to.
I do also try to encourage people when possible, especially if, say, as a daughter, maybe helping with mom's things, to automate and go paperless with as much as you can, as much what's within your comfort zone, but if you can eliminate the utility bills alone, that's 4 bills a month that you don't have to open. You don't have to touch. You can automate the payments, and you just never miss them, and you can always go online and see them. I see them on the bank statement, National Fuel Gas, this is how much it was, or whatever. I guess she doesn't have that in assisted living anymore, but it's the same thing. Anything that you can automate and eliminate the paper really saves a lot of time.
You do, though, and I've learned from you, you do have to budget and schedule time in for that, because it's not just magical.
Well, it's like laundry, which we say. The papers aren't going to walk themselves to the file any faster than the laundry's going to walk itself to the washing machine.
It doesn't?
No. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm the primary laundry person, so it's okay. And you also advocate for shredding right away. Make that decision. It's so much more simple doing it that way than having things stack up, because it feels Herculean. It feels like, again, the whole idea, I've got this whole house to pack. Instead of starting out with just a small little doable section, you just stop and you just don't do it. So.
And every house that I've ever been in has multiple junk drawers. Just drawers that are, so I'll say to people, well, you say you want to take all the china. What about these 4 drawers across the top? What's in them? Well, you open it up.
Pens and pencils.
Oh, there's a deck of cards that are not all there, and just, thingamajigs and whatchamacallits. And there's some coasters and some cocktail napkins, and then over here there's the brush for the dog that died 5 years ago, and
that's so similar to everybody's junk drawer. They're all like, I'm guilty.
Right, absolutely. It's just all that stuff. So the more you can go through those things and call ahead of time, the easier it is.
The easier it is to call you right away. Don't even wait. Jamie, thank you so much for coming in. If you can give us a website and telephone number, we're out of time.
www.homesolutionswny.com, 716-984-4841.
You're the best. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Tammie Lee.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care. Be well.